All right, everybody, so we are in Houdini, so let's go through some of the practical kind of examples for the language, the cinematic camera language. So we have our cheat sheet here. So we have the dolly, boom, truck. I never use truck. I really don't. Pan, tilt, roll. Truck, I just say slide left or right, or I just use the dolly left, dolly right. For the pan and tilt, I usually just use pan for everything. That's why I have this, how the client describes the camera movement, which is all pans. And I am sometimes also can be accused of this, because for a pan or a tilt, I just say pan up and pan down, not tilt up, just so you guys know. But let's keep this here so it's a bit handy, and let's recreate all of these camera motions and movements here in Houdini. There's a couple of caveats, and I'm going to be showing you a couple of cool tricks how to do all of these great smooth cams in Houdini. We are using a scene here that we have from the rookies, from the competition, the first official Rebelway FX competition. Our characters are frozen here, but the scene actually looks like this. So this is a camera that I did for the competition, so everybody can people that do enter are gonna get this camera, and they can start using these shots, so they have something cool to already present their effects with. So yeah, that's I had God of War cameras as an inspiration for this, and in the later episodes we're gonna be diving into how I did these cameras and kind of the cinematography language behind them. All right. So let's go back to Houdini and put down our camera. This is our first camera. Let's call it, so you can use whatever you want. Let's use RE 16K, cam, let's just 01, 60K, that would be insane. Let's put it back to 4K. This doesn't do anything, it's just a naming convention. I just drag it here, you have to lock it, and you have a camera here. There you go. This is our first camera. Looks cool. We can do all sorts of things with it. And the camera options here in Houdini can be a bit weird. Like you get this thing, which is not the most intuitive. I'm actually waiting for maybe an overhaul for this. I'm pretty sure it's gonna come soon. But you can do stuff. I usually never use this, and sometimes it glitches out on me, so I never use it. We have our main camera here. So main camera, I use this camera only for rotations and not translations. So if we go here, let's first do like a push in, right? Let's do a push in. Let's find a good space here, something like this. So I use this camera to do the initial starting position. Then I would change the aspect ratio to a more cinematic aspect ratio like this. So you can see I have the blinders at the top and bottom. You can do it also like this and put this to 1.33, and this would actually squeeze the image. So you see we're still rendering at the HD resolution, so the resolution doesn't change, it's the squeeze that is going to change, and you will see the squeeze if you render this image out, and then you have to unsqueeze it in Nuke or your compositing software of choice. Let's leave it like that. We're on a 50, doesn't matter right now. Let's go to sampling. You can see we have depth of field showcasing here. Let's quickly do a trick here where the depth of field will always stay on the monster. Now, what you can do is you can control where your focus is, like so. Again, it's a bit tough sometimes and you have to animate the focus distance, but at least you can see where your plane is, so that's cool. But what I do is I put down a sphere, and this is like just a workaround for this. So let's go here, put down the sphere, go inside the camera. Grab our sphere. Just gonna showcase everything. Sphere, merge the object. So the cam origin. So we have 2 points. Gonna merge the 2 points together. Let's do an add. It's Houdini saving. Add, and we have to merge it into this object. So we actually get the origin here. Add the two together. We get a line. Let's measure this line by its perimeter, and we will get 16. We want 16. So let's use this number to connect our focus distance to. So let's say something like prim. So we're taking the primitive from, we want the primitive attribute from here. It's the second one. And we want perimeter, yeah, in between the brackets and 0. And that should give us the distance, which is 16. So that's cool. So now we have the distance, and if we go back to our camera, we can now move our sphere. Move the sphere. That is a bit odd. All right, so the problem was that for some reason Houdini decided not to cooperate today. And I just had to restart Houdini, reload an old file, and now everything works. So it's exactly the same setup. The only thing was I didn't change anything. I just had to redo it in a different hip file. So I have no idea what happened there. It just happens. So perimeter, prim, sphere, everything is the same. Now it's 20, 29, 58. And you can see the focus is going to stay where our sphere is. And that's exactly what you want in a lot of cases. And now you can move your sphere and see it works. It works now. My God, almost had a little panic attack there. You can put down the transform for our sphere, and if you want to, you can just add this parameter here. We don't want any of them. Just make them invisible. From node, sphere, transform, sep, and look at that. We have our sphere right here. So now you can control the movements here, or go inside and you get the handles and all of that. So yeah, that's point number 1. So let's actually start. I'm gonna reduce the depth of field for now. Let's start creating so in case you lost your orientation handles, if you're here, just put them back so you get the controls if you want them. And all right, so let's do the dolly. Let's dolly it. There's a caveat here when you're going to be transforming. Okay, let me get to the caveat later. Let me just do it. So, okay, because I reopened the project, I need to time shift the characters at frame 200. Just gonna save quickly. All right, so we have our camera. First, let's just get the position in place and remove the sphere for now. I think something like this is gonna work. I also have the pivoting done, so it doesn't change the pivot each time. The pivot is gonna stay to where I set it. Right, so let's say this is our frame. What do we want to do now is go to the first frame, duplicate this, and connect it. But you see, if we connect it like this, it's just going to add the additional transforms on top. So we don't want that. What we do want is we need to keep position when parenting on both of them. You don't need it on the second one, but I just do it. And then you can clean rotation, and now you will be transforming. Imagine this is your dolly track. This is the guy actually pushing your camera. That's how I imagine it. So this is a dolly transform. And let's see. There's a caveat here because if, let's say if we duplicate this and plug it here, well, let's say we want a dolly first, right? We go forward and we push in and everybody's happy. But like this, linear, happy push in. It's a happy push. All right, so if we now duplicate this camera and we are like, yeah, but instead of a push in, I just want to go from left to right. So do a slide. And make it linear, and that works. The problem is if you connect this here now, you see the push in is gonna, the values are gonna be not corrupted, but adjusted. So wherever we left off with this guy, and then we plug it, we're gonna be doing the push here, and that's not gonna work very well. So what you do need to do is when you duplicate this and you plug it here, rotate, clean the transforms, you can undo the parenting on the bottom one. So if we do the same exercise as before, I don't know why I have this many frames. I don't need them. Happy pushing. All right, so we have that, and now we can duplicate this, go to the beginning, translate it. Let's say we decide to do a slide. And this is just like a caveat that sometimes might get you and you won't know exactly why. And we do this, and now we can switch between the two. And you can see they're gonna change based on which transform you have. It's not going to change the actual data, the origin on your main camera. That is, if you're doing it like this. In most cases, if you would like to do, if you would be switching like this, I would just, so let's say you have this, come on, I would just duplicate the whole setup. That's a solution to this, and that's the caveat that I wanted to tell you guys, just in case. Other programs have it differently, but because we're doing this in Houdini, that's how we do it. So let's do it one more time. And this is the last time we do it like this. Obviously okay, so we still have our focus thing here. Like I said, I would do the transform. So this is still camera one. Transform, keep position, plug it in. Keep in mind, after you do the plugin, you don't want to move your camera like this, because you can see that's our push like that, and that will just not work right now. So you need to keep in mind that when you move the camera, I mean, you don't want to be moving the camera anymore once you put it to your initial position. Don't move it with these translates, only move it with the top translates. The bottom one is, it's gonna be your main camera. So maybe we can, main, but I only use this to do the rotations. So the bottom one will do the tilt and the pan. This one will do the dolly and the boom and the trucks. I never use truck, never. So transform, we have it here. Let's do a push in. So go here, start pushing in, and maybe offset it just a bit, because we do want to, let's see, how does that feel? Let's go back. I want to go down and to the right. So we mostly just want to be, I just mostly want to be pushing in. So I'm not deviating a bit to the left or right. I'm just doing a clean push in. I'm gonna put everything to linear because I want this to already start in the beginning. So like that, make it a bit faster. So you have to, these are the handles that you want to grab when you are going from left to right. And if you're going up and down, you select the actual keyframe. You can also press this and you will have free transforms if you want to. I usually have this on, to be honest. So like that. And now the pan up is gonna happen here. And it's gonna be on the X, like so. And I will press equals to create something like that, and control on this guy on the handle to just expand this just a bit like that. I want to do a very slow, I'm just going to go on the X rotation here. I want to do a slow, yeah, let's go back a bit. Yeah, that works. And what you can also do is with the Y, with the Z, you can alt click to another key. Maybe just do go to the offset it just a touch. I'm gonna put everything to Bezier. So that works. I'm gonna push everything back like so. So we have a scary monster roaring at us and we're doing a push in. The next thing I would do, go to the beginning, duplicate the camera, call it shake, go here, remove everything, clean transforms, rotate, motion effects, noise it up, put this to 3, period, just extend it, like so, noise to 5, probably 4. So we have this. So we utilized pan, actually we utilized the dolly, we did a tilt up, we did a little of a, just a bit of a pan, or actually we did just a bit of the roll in this case. So for anything else, like I was showing you guys, I would duplicate this whole thing. Let's keep the shake. Actually, because if you duplicate it, these are gonna get over, you're gonna lost the references. So what you can do is just copy parameter and paste relative reference, and this will give you the shake back. But it now, because if you're gonna change this shake, it's gonna also affect the second one. So be cautious about this. I would advise you not to do it like this, but just do it properly and add another shake. So now we don't, let's say we don't like this motion, we remove it, do this, add it, transform, clean, we're at the beginning. Let's say we want like a very, and also let's remove the rotations for now. And we're just gonna do a slide like this. And this is, yeah, not like this because we need to go forward to the slide. Very cool, very fast. It's gonna do it. I'm gonna go here, put everything to linear, like so, and then with our rotations, and Houdini saving, rotate here, like that, lock it, go to whatever frame here, go back, rotate it the other way, go up. Very cool. So you see, that's how I do cameras, and I'm just gonna Bezier everything here, and then you would have to, and maybe here you would, on the X, you might go let's see, might go up a bit and slightly down, just emulate some kind of natural shake. Yeah, it's a bit too much. Well, actually it's gonna work when we Bezier it. Up, just want to go up and remove this one. Yeah, kind of feels cool, something like that. Something like that. We're losing. So it also depends, like how much do you wanna, you know, this is quite an extreme move, but those are it. That's it. Those are all the moves. And then if you have two characters fighting like this, like I said, you can it can become a bit more complex. Like here, I was doing zoom ins and zoom outs and push ins, and I went left and right, and I did, you know, the slide, and then I did the zoom in here, and you know, I was in this particular sequence, I was really utilizing all the camera moves. You see, I did the push in, I had the handheld feeling of it, as if this was you know, a shot not on us, so without a stabilizer or any Steadicam rigs, but like literally on just, you know, handheld. It was handheld, that's what I want to say. So yeah, but those are literally, that's how cameras are done. And I think we went through most of the motions and movements. Here's the cheat sheet again, and yeah, that's gonna do for this first part of the practical demonstrations in doing CG smooth cams in Houdini. So I hope you guys enjoyed it and learned something new, and let's continue.